I always knew when a seizure was coming. The metallic taste in my mouth, the way colors seemed too bright, and that feeling of déjà vu that washed over me like a wave. But lately, I'd grown more afraid of my mother's reaction and the seizures themselves. My name is Rachel, and I was diagnosed with epilepsy at 16. That's when everything changed, not because of the condition, but because of my mother's obsession with proving I was faking it. She's doing this for attention, Mom would tell anyone who would listen. Ever since her father left, she's been pulling these stunts. That particular Tuesday in March started like any other. I was sitting in the hospital's waiting room for my regular neurology appointment, my mother scrolling through her phone beside me. The familiar aura started creeping in. That warning signal that told me I had minutes, maybe seconds. "Mom," I whispered, my voice already feeling distant. "It's happening." She didn't even look up. "Of course it is. Right here in the hospital where everyone can see. How convenient." The fluorescent lights above began to pulse and swim. I gripped the armrests of my chair, trying to ground myself. "Please, help." "Rachel, enough." She grabbed my arm, her nails digging into my skin. "You're embarrassing me." That's the last thing I clearly remember before the seizure took hold. What happened next, I would later see on the security footage that changed everything. According to the witnesses and video, I slid from the chair as the convulsions began. Instead of helping me or calling for assistance, my mother yanked me up by my arm, screaming that I was putting on a show. "Get up." Her voice sounded like it was coming through water. I'm sick of this attention-seeking behavior. Through the fog of the seizure, I felt myself being dragged. My head hit something. Later I'd learn it was the corner of a coffee table. Blood began pooling on the waiting room floor. A nurse saw what was happening and rushed over. "Ma'am, stop. She's having a grand mal seizure." "She's faking it," Mom insisted, still trying to force me to stand. "She does this all the time. She just wants people to feel sorry for her." What my mother didn't know was that the hospital had recently installed a new security system with high-definition cameras and audio recording. Every second of her actions was being captured in crystal clear quality. Dr. Martinez, my neurologist, heard the commotion and came running. "Get a gurney," she shouted, dropping to her knees beside me. "And call security." I drifted in and out of consciousness as they stabilized me. Through the haze, I heard my mother's voice getting more shrill, more defensive. "This is ridiculous. I'm her mother. I know when she's faking. She's been doing this since her father walked out. It's all for attention." "Mrs. Walker," Dr. Martinez's voice was steel cold. "Your daughter has a serious head injury and is in the middle of a documented seizure. Step back, or I will have security remove you. You can't keep me from my daughter. I'm the only one who knows what she's really doing." That's when Dr. Martinez said the words that would change everything. "Actually, we have everything we need to know right here on camera, and I'm legally obligated to report what I've just witnessed." The next few hours were a blur of tests, stitches, and quiet conversations just out of my earshot. When I fully regained consciousness, my mother was gone, and a social worker sat beside my bed instead. "Rachel," she said gently, "we need to talk about what happened today, and about what's been happening at home." I looked at the bandage on my arm where Mom's nails had broken the skin, at the IV delivering anti-seizure medication, and at the concerned faces of the hospital staff. For the first time in years, I felt safe enough to tell the truth. "It's been going on since the diagnosis," I started, my voice barely a whisper. "She doesn't believe me. She says I'm making it up for attention. Sometimes she does things to prove I'm faking." The social worker nodded, taking notes. "The security footage shows what happened today, but we need to know about the other incidents. Are you ready to tell us?" I took a deep breath, feeling the weight of years of disbelief and abuse pressing down on me. "Yes," I said. "I think it's time everyone knew the truth." The hospital room felt smaller as I began sharing my story. The social worker, Ms. Collins, recorded everything while Dr. Martinez reviewed my medical history on her tablet. The first time she tested me, I said, my hands twisting in the hospital blanket, was 3 months after my diagnosis. She secretly replaced my anticonvulsant medication with sugar pills. Said if I had a seizure, it would prove I was faking because I didn't know they weren't real meds. Dr. Martinez's head snapped up. "That explains the unexplained spike in seizure activity last year." I nodded. "I had 3 grand mal seizures that week. When I came to, she'd be standing over me, asking if I was done with the performance. Once, I dislocated my shoulder during a fall. She waited 2 hours before taking me to the ER, saying I needed to think about what I'd done. Miss Collins's pen moved rapidly across her notepad. Did anyone else in your family know about this? My Aunt Sarah tried to help, I said, blinking back tears. She saw Mom hiding my medication once and threatened to report her. The next day, Mom told everyone Aunt Sarah had a drinking problem and couldn't be trusted. Nobody's heard from her since. The door opened and a police detective entered, carrying a laptop. Rachel, I'm Detective Morrison. We've reviewed the security footage from today, but we found something else concerning. Your mother tried to access your room about an hour ago. The cameras caught her attempting to remove something from her purse before security stopped her. He turned the laptop toward me, showing the footage. There was my mother, trying to slip past the nurse's station, her hand clutching something in her designer bag. That's her proof kit, I said quietly. Her what? Dr. Martinez asked. She carries things to test me during seizures. Ammonia capsules, pins, sometimes ice water. Says if I react, I'm faking it. I pulled up my sleeve, revealing small circular burns. She used to press cigarettes against my arm during episodes, saying a real seizure wouldn't make me flinch. The room fell silent. Detective Morrison closed his laptop slowly, his jaw tight. Rachel, he said, we've contacted your father in Colorado. He's flying in tonight. I hadn't seen my dad in 3 years. After the divorce, Mom had convinced everyone he was abusive, that he couldn't be trusted around me. Like everything else, it had been a lie. Your mother told the staff he lost his parental rights, Dr. Martinez said. We've confirmed that's false. She forged documents to keep him away. A knock at the door made us all turn. A nurse entered with a tablet. Dr. Martinez, the results from the talk screen are in, and you need to see this. The doctor took the tablet, her expression darkening as she read. Rachel, your blood shows traces of multiple substances that aren't prescribed to you. Sedatives, anti-anxiety medications. She said they were vitamins, I whispered. Every morning with breakfast. Said they'd help with my attention-seeking behavior. Detective Morrison was already on his phone. I need a warrant issued immediately. And send a unit to 1847 Maple Street. We need to search that house. The next few hours were a whirlwind of activity. More police, more doctors, more questions. They photographed my burns, documented old injuries, took statements about years of medical manipulation. Around midnight, I heard a familiar voice in the hallway, my father's. He burst into the room, his face pale and drawn. 3 years older, but still the dad who used to hold me through the worst seizures, who never once doubted me. Rachel, he choked out, rushing to my bedside. Oh God, baby, I'm so sorry. I should have fought harder. Should have known something was wrong when she wouldn't let me talk to you. I fell into his arms, sobbing. She said you didn't want me anymore, that you called me crazy, like her sister. Never, he whispered fiercely. I've been fighting for you every day. Your Aunt Sarah, too, she's been helping me try to prove something was wrong. Miss Collins cleared her throat gently. Mr. Kennedy will need to discuss temporary custody arrangements, given the circumstances and the pending charges. Charges? I looked up. Detective Morrison nodded grimly. Medical abuse, child endangerment, assault, falsifying documents, administering unauthorized substances. Your mother's going to face serious consequences. The security footage alone. I closed my eyes, feeling the weight of years of gaslighting and abuse finally lifting. My father's hand was warm in mine, real and solid and safe. What happens now? I asked. Now, Dr. Martinez said firmly, you focus on healing, both physically and emotionally. We'll adjust your medication, your real medication, and start fresh. With doctors who believe you, family who supports you, and a mother who can never hurt you again. For the first time in years, I felt the knot in my chest begin to loosen. The security cameras hadn't just caught my mother's actions. They captured my liberation. 6 months after the hospital incident, I sat in a courtroom watching my mother being led away in handcuffs. She turned to look at me one last time, her face a mask of betrayal and anger. Even now, she believed she was the victim. The evidence against her had been overwhelming. The search of our house revealed years of hidden journals detailing her tests and interventions. A methodical record of abuse disguised as maternal concern. They found stockpiles of medications she'd withheld, videos she'd recorded of my seizures while refusing to help, and correspondence with online groups that encouraged her behavior. 8 years, the judge had pronounced, with mandatory psychiatric evaluation and treatment. My father squeezed my hand as we left the courthouse. Aunt Sarah walked on my other side, her sobriety medallion catching the sunlight. Another of Mom's lies exposed. Sarah had never had a drinking problem. "You did it, sweetheart," Dad said proudly. "You stood up and told the truth." The truth had been harder and easier than I'd expected. Harder because facing the full scope of Mom's abuse meant acknowledging how much of my life had been built on lies. Easier because once I started speaking, the words wouldn't stop. My new neurologist, Dr. Chen, had helped piece together the medical timeline. Years of intentionally triggering seizures had caused real damage. The unnecessary medications Mom had forced on me had complicated my condition. But with proper treatment, I was finally gaining control. 3 months seizure-free, I said, touching the medical alert bracelet I now wore proudly instead of hiding it, as Mom had insisted. Dr. Chen says if we maintain the current medication schedule, I might be able to start driving next year. Sarah smiled. "And how's the support group going?" I joined a group for survivors of medical abuse, discovering I wasn't alone. There were others whose parents had manipulated their illnesses, fabricated symptoms, or denied real conditions. We were healing together. It helps, I admitted. Especially now that I'm getting ready for college. That was my newest victory. With my seizures properly controlled and my mother's financial abuse exposed, I qualified for multiple scholarships. In the fall, I'd be starting pre-med classes. Your mother's insurance finally paid up too, Dad mentioned as we reached the car. The claims she blocked all those years. The insurance investigation had revealed how Mom had systematically denied coverage for my epilepsy treatments while submitting claims for unnecessary procedures she demanded. The settlement would cover my medical expenses for years. Back at Dad and Sarah's house, my home now, I went to my room to change. The walls were painted in calm blues and greens, no more of the stark white Mom had insisted would show if I was faking a fall. My medication sat openly on my nightstand, not hidden away like a shameful secret. My phone buzzed with messages from the support group. "Saw the news about your mom's sentencing. Proud of you, warrior. You did it. Freedom feels amazing, doesn't it? Starting college and putting your abuser away. You're my hero." I smiled, remembering how Mom used to check my phone, deleting any messages that mentioned my condition. Now I had a whole network of supporters, friends who understood both the trauma and the triumph. Sarah knocked on my door. "Feel like celebrating? Your dad's grilling, and I made the epilepsy-friendly chocolate cake you love. No more of Mom's special food that left me dizzy and confused. No more meals withheld as punishment for attention-seeking seizures." "Be right there," I called, changing into comfortable clothes. Through my window, I could see Dad at the grill, talking with Dr. Martinez, who'd come to celebrate with us. She'd been instrumental in building the case against Mom, testifying about the hospital incident and years of medical inconsistencies. My phone buzzed again, a reminder for my evening medication. I took it without hesitation, no longer hearing Mom's voice calling me weak or dramatic. My condition wasn't a character flaw or a bid for attention. It was just part of me finally being properly treated. On my desk sat my acceptance letter to medical school, next to a photo of me with my support group. Below them was a newspaper clipping about the case. "Mother sentenced in medical abuse case. Hospital cameras reveal years of torment." The security cameras had caught one day of abuse, but they'd exposed years of truth. They'd shown the world what I'd been trying to tell them all along. More importantly, they'd shown me that I deserved to be believed, to be treated, to be safe. As I headed downstairs to join my real family, the ones who supported my health instead of sabotaging it, I touched my medical alert bracelet again. Mom had called my epilepsy fake, but she was the only fake thing in my life. And now, finally, that part of my story was over. The sound of laughter drifted up from the backyard. My new life was waiting, and for the first time, I wasn't afraid to live it.